Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, you and the children can stay but she can't. JustNoMil making ex-husband's death all about her. Almost 1 year of using our washer/dryer. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You and the children can stay but she can't. Apologies in advance because this is going to be long and venti. The last few months have been rough. Near the end of last year, we lost the house to a freak accident. We lost almost everything we owned. It's just been a really stressful time for my little family of 4. We were out for a school recital when we received the call from a neighbor, and we returned to find the house in flames. The fire department tried to save what they could, but the damage was really bad. We ended up selling the property and moving altogether because the repairs amounted to essentially rebuilding the house. I have been married for 10 years and my Mil has never liked me. I still didn't expect her to act the way she did during this time. I always believed that even if she didn't like me, she'd help me in a time of need because I was the mother of her 2 grandsons and the wife of her son, and I made them happy. I was wrong. On the night of the accident, we needed a place to stay temporarily, at least until we could have a few moments to breathe and get our bearings. My husband suggested we stay with his mother for the night. It was late and it made the most sense to us both. We drove over to the house. My boys were half asleep in the back seat and we left them in the car when we went to speak to Mil to explain what was going on. She was very sympathetic at first and said she had no problem with my husband and my son staying, but I would have to make other arrangements. My husband lost it with her and began to yell that she was being unreasonable, and she refused to budge. In her words, I wasn't true family and she'd never blessed our marriage in the first place, so I was not her responsibility. We left and spent the night in our car, and we got a motel the next day. She began calling and inviting us over to stay again, and she said that she'd graciously permit me to stay in the garage for a few days. Again, we didn't take her up on the offer and my husband told her that she was being very disrespectful. My Mil got very angry in response and said that we were spitting on her generosity. She then offered to keep the boys so that they wouldn't need to stay in a motel while we put our lives back in order. Again, we rejected her offer. We heard nothing from her for a few days until we learned that she had been badmouthing me to people. She was claiming that I was tearing the family apart in this time of need with my grudges. From her point of view, she'd opened her house to us in an instant and I turned her down and forced my husband's sons to live in a cheap motel because I didn't like her. My husband set the record straight, but Mil did not ease up. She made an official complaint to the fire department claiming that I had caused the accident purposefully to destroy the house and force the current situation. She said that I was money hungry and had designs on her house, and this was all part of my plan to steal her house from under her. I was taken in for questioning and I understand why due to the nature of the allegations, but I was cleared off everything as the investigation proved it was an accident and there was no way someone could deliberately cause the accident. She later showed up to the house while we were going through it to see what could be salvaged, and she made disparaging comments about how we should not be upset as these were just things. Yes, they were things. I'm not upset about the stove and the couch and the bed. I'm upset about the arts and crafts projects my sons made for Mother's Day every year. I'm upset about family heirlooms that are irreplaceable. I'm upset about the memories that were lost. The house was a fixer-upper when we bought it and we did a lot of the restoration ourselves. We had professionals handle things like the wiring, but we did the painting and the sanding and whatever we could to save money. My youngest son had a gaming console that he owned, which had been left at her house before the accident. They'd been over for a weekend with their father and had taken the console to keep them occupied. Mil stated she didn't have it, and we must have taken it back. My son argued with her that he'd had a conversation with her about leaving it there for the week so his cousin could use it while visiting. She gaslit him to the point of frustrated tears and kept saying we'd taken it back and it had probably been lost in the accident. The truth came out from others that Mil had given it away after we'd refused her initial offer of hospitality. The shining ray of light through all this has been that this is the straw that broke the camel's back for my husband. We all went in after these incidents and a few more, and we cut contact with her shortly before moving to our new place. She has been trying to get our address from family members, but she hasn't had any luck just yet. My husband made it clear that he'd have no problem cutting off anyone else in the family who gave her our address or contact information. If she can't support us when we're at our worst, she doesn't deserve to be there when we're at our best. What the hell? She gave away your son's things knowing he had nothing left? I know she did a lot more, but that is just doing my brain in. The denying you help when you needed it was just pure bullsh*t, and I am glad it has opened your husband's eyes. She offered to buy him a brand new one if he came and stayed with her during everything. He declined. We were able to make something work and got the boys a pre-owned console for Christmas that they can share. I know, can you imagine stealing it from little kid who just lost everything else to a house fire? What a fucking psycho, OMG. Never let her see your kids again, please. She'd graciously permit me to stay in the garage for a few days. What a generous God. She treats you like you're the family dog or something. Or worse. Family dog. This sounds right. She did name a dog after me a few years ago. I work for a fire marshal. I can almost guarantee your investigator saw right through her bullsh*t when she first reported you, and probably said a lot of not nice things about her after speaking to her, and again after speaking to you. The whole department was probably made well aware what a scumbag she is. Also, for anyone else that ever finds themselves homeless after a fire, in the US at least, ask the fire department, while they are still at the scene, to contact the Red Cross. The Red Cross has systems set up to find families places to stay and get them help immediately after a tragedy like this. The only caveat to this is if your Red Cross area rep sucks, you might be out of luck. Most of them are good though, and is absolutely worth it to call. That's the impression I got when I was questioned. They knew it was bullsh*t, but still had to do their due diligence to investigate. Honestly, from her behavior, if they hadn't found the fire to be absolutely an accident, I'd wonder if she had anything to do with it. We've seen much worse than arson to try and force the hated DAL out of the family, such as arson to try to kill an entirely unrelated witness, right you/Theftley Squadron? She honestly isn't the type to get her own hands dirty unless child rearing is involved. Then she's all on board for corporal punishment. She's actually more fond of emotional and mental games. What a horrible, spiteful lady. Even trying her tactics on your children. I hope she gets in trouble for the false accusations to the police for telling them you set the fire. P.S. Love your husband's shiny spine. When I was a kid, our basement/playroom flooded with sewage and I lost almost all my toys. I was particularly crushed because my lovey, a doll called Sarah Doll, seemed to be one of the lost toys. But when we made the drive up to visit my grandmother a few weeks later, she presented me with my Sarah Doll, having penciled-in eyebrows and a smile on her cloth face. That is one of the most powerful memories of my grandmother, something I've cherished long after her passing. Your MIL had the opportunity to give a similar wonderful memory to your son, but instead she's burned into his mind that she gave away something he cared about out of spite. She wanted to play happy families without you, and instead she's proved to the children she wants to pretend are hers that she is a monster. What a vile human being to be that absent of compassion. Thankfully she showed her hand to your husband and his family. She never liked me and I have been low contact with her years, but I never expected her hatred to be this bad. Wow. Just wow. She's nasty, horrible, a pitiful excuse for a human being. Thankfully your DH has a shiny spine and stomped her disrespect of you right away. And giving away your son's console out of petty spite, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You are better off without her hatred and negativity. I hope that in your new house you can make everlasting, lovely, and delightful memories. She's pure evil. My husband is the second last of his siblings to go and see with her, but he was the golden child. He was very muddled with her for a long time, but he's been getting better with realizing she's not normal these last few years. This just cinched it. JustNoMil making ex-husband's death all about her. My JMFIL passed away Friday and I'm struggling with so much anger with his ex-wife, JustNoMil. FIL and I have had a rocky relationship from the start. Unfortunately, the last year has been especially rough, but I figured we were due for an upswing soon. On to JustNoMil. So first, Friday JustNoMil messaged my husband that she hasn't heard from FIL in a couple days and he's not answering his phone. FIL lives in an independent care facility. She could have and should have called the front desk for a wellness check. Instead, my husband was there when the body was found. This has understandably messed him up. It took this woman a day and a half to ask my husband how he's doing. Her first response was, "What am I going to do now?" Even though they are divorced, FIL has been helping take care of her. She's a narcissistic drug addict that refuses to take care of herself. Then the icing on the cake was the woman was texting friends and family that FIL passed before I had a chance to call them. I've been trying to call people who already don't like me because the in-laws don't have nice things to say about me, but to hear they got a text broke my heart. Who does that? One friend was openly hostile to me. My husband, as the only child, should be the sole inheritor, but his aunt wants him to give the money to his mom for her care. Husband feels like he needs to take up his dad's mantle of caring for his mom, knowing full well this woman is just going to manipulate and abuse him every chance she gets. The next couple months are going to be rough. I can't get him to go no contact with her. Edit to add, thank you all for your kind words. If anyone is curious, it takes 3 days for a narcissist drug addict to ask for money, $1,500 to be exact. She verbally lashed out when he said we can't touch any money until after probate. She's also asked for a copy of the death certificate. His sketchy uncle did as well. Anyone know why they would want one? Seems like a morbid memento. We meet with probate lawyer tomorrow. We're expecting both his mom and uncle to try something. Do not give a drug addict money, period. If you and DH are not struggling financially and DH wants to help his mom, then he can take over some of her bills but never give a drug addict money. We are definitely comfortable financially. I told my husband to spend the money on a shiny new car for himself to remember his dad. Unfortunately, he talked about giving his mom cash, because 3 days after his dad's death, she's asking for money. I talked him out of it and he politely told her we can't touch the money until after probate. She lashed out at him. In a horrible way. I'm so very sorry you were dealing with this. One small suggestion: advise your husband not to make any decisions, financial or otherwise, until he has had several months to process his loss. Anyone who is pressuring him or asking him for money, time, attention, responsibilities can be told, "I'm going to take some time to process my grief and we'll make those decisions later." You're right, he's going to be actively manipulated and abused, but maybe this can give him some breathing room? Good luck, and again, so sorry for your loss. So much this. If the person wants to support her in her time of need, let them. Have them keep receipts and they will be reimbursed after probate or whatever. No money should be distributed until grief and legalities are done. My condolences to you both. His aunt has no say as to where anyone else's money goes. Period. Shut that down. I'm sorry you and hubby are going through this. By the way, his mom has no say in someone else's money either. Stay strong. If FIL wanted MIL taken care of, he would have specified so in the will. It's literally the mechanism we have in our society to dictate what happens with our money and possessions. If Phil didn't have it outlined in his will, he didn't want it. Never let anyone tell you what a deceased person would have wanted. They had the option to tell people what they wanted. If they didn't tell anyone, then they didn't want anything. This. If Phil wanted him to take up the mantle, he'd have left an avenue to do so in his will and last testament. We're still expecting a fight. His mom and uncle are sketchy AF and both requested a copy of the death certificate. We're meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. Bet that Aunt is scared JustNoMil's care will be put on her, so she is handballing to DH, when in fact everyone should be banding together and laying the care of JustNoMil onto JustNoMil herself. Of course the aunt wants him to give her the money and to take care of her. Then the aunt doesn't have to do it. That should be a hard no. She is not going to become independent if he continues what his father did. He can't enable her behavior and he can't become what his father was to her. He needs counseling for what happened with his dad and to enable him to deal with her. Her comment about what she was going to do is very telling. There was zero sympathy for her son. Nor Phil. Get him into counseling before she bleeds him dry of funds and emotions. Mil would have gotten her share in the divorce. Not your and DH problem that she pissed it all away. As to her, what am I gonna do now? How about she grows up? We all know adulting is hard, most certainly for those who refuse to take any responsibility for themselves. Just let others do it. Get your husband in counseling now. I am the adult child 52F of a substance abuser. He should not be enabling her. It will come at great cost to him and his life. She is a grown woman who is making her own choices. She needs to be responsible for herself. That doesn't mean she will get sober, but whatever happens will be all on her. Almost 1 year of using our washer/dryer. Hi all. Someone please help. Mil and my fiancé plus I currently live right beside each other due to convenient living arrangements. We got the chance to rent to own from fiancé's aunt. Coincidentally, she bought 2 houses right beside one another. Mil got one, we got the other. Mil has been using our washer and dryer since we both moved in March. She made it a point that she would only use them for a while until she got her washer and dryer into the room it was supposed to go in. In the meantime, she used it as a storage room. We set boundaries with her around 2 months ago about laundry because she had been asking last minute very late at night to do a load, and it was inconvenient for us and caused arguments between fiancé and I. Mil whined and tried to gaslight fiancé when we had the boundaries talk, never got to finish it completely because she walked out. Ever since it has been every Friday is her laundry day and it needs to be finished before 6 p.m. She has asked a few times to do laundry prior to Friday or after 6 p.m., not respecting the boundaries. To this day, we've asked/mentioned to her maybe 2 to 3 times to clean out the room so fiancé and I can go get her washer and dryer and hook it up for her. All is in her court. What do I do? How do I approach this? I'm so tired. Charge her for electricity to run machine, water to fill machine, and 1/3 of the fee you paid for washer and dryer. Money is tight now, we need to reduce our bills, so contribute or you can't use the machines. This Friday is the last Friday you do your washing here. She can go to a laundromat or get her own sorted, go to a friend's, her sister's. Whatever. You have been more than generous for long enough. Whatever she does. Not your problem. Why not cut laundry day privileges off? Force her to do her own adulting. Stick to your guns about Friday is the only day she can use the washer, and laundry must be done by 6 o'clock. That means the last load should be in around 4:30? Have a load ready to go and drop it in at 4:30 on the nose, or as soon as possible thereafter. Meanwhile, tell her that the last Friday of the month will be the last day your washer will be available to her. Have fiancé set up a day and time to go get the washer and dryer a week or so before then. If the room isn't clean when he arrives with it, move just enough stuff to get it positioned and hooked up. She likes this arrangement. You get wear and tear on your appliances and are lucky enough to get to pay the utilities too. I would never end this arrangement/s. Stop letting her use your machines. Force her to set her own sh*t up. You're paying for her to do her laundry. Or you could buy coin-operated machines and she can pay to do her clothes. Like at a laundromat. You are no longer going to use our WD. You have the room use it. Our laundromat is now closed. Shut it down. I'm scared of her reply, or if she'll ask why. What do you think we should say if she asks why? Geez, I'd be tempted to put my house up for sale and move, like yesterday. So fiancé and I can go get her washer and dryer and hook it up for her. Seriously? Why are you guys obligated to do this for her? Isn't she an adult? Please tell me she already has this washer dryer and you're not paying for her appliances. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.